I've been thinking a lot about this lately through all the businesses that I run is the difference of an employee to an owner and having skin in the game and how that changes the game. This is episode number 8 of the Ask the BCE Show. In this episode, we're going to talk about what it means to have skin in the game. You guys know what it means to have skin in the game?
A vague idea.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know. Should know what skin was. Skin in the game. What does that mean to have skin in the game, and how does that change the game? All right, so here's my thought. I've been thinking a lot about this lately through all the businesses that I run is the difference of an employee to an owner and having skin in the game and how that changes the game. Here's the biggest difference that I see. It literally changes everything. It changes perspective, decision making. It changes the way that you view the business. Let's just call it how it is. No one will care about that business as much unless their own money's in that game. That's just what it is. Even if you have the best employees ever, which I have the best employees ever. I love my employees. They care a lot about the businesses, but because and if they don't have their own money into that business, they won't care about that business like they would. It is painful to put your money up. It's painful to put your money in that business. And that changes your thought process. That changes your decision making. The moment that you take money out of your pocket, out of your life, out of your family's pocket, and you risk it on a business, you now become an entrepreneur. That's the definition of an entrepreneur, is controlling, running a business with greater than normal financial risk. That's what an entrepreneur is. And if you're out there right now and you have entrepreneur tendencies, or you're what Alex called an entrepreneur, and you don't have skin in the game, you're not an entrepreneur. It just is what it is. I'm sorry, guys, you're not. You're not an entrepreneur. You don't know what it feels like to risk your own money, and you're never going to know what that's like until you put your own money into the game. It's a game changer. It's just going to change it. It changes everything. That pain of putting your money in, not knowing whether or not you're going to get that money back, will change everything for you. Like, let's face it, if you don't have your own money in the game, even if you're like gifted shares, Reese, like if I gifted you half of the company of one of our companies, right?
Yeah. And
you don't have any skin in the game, psychologically deep down, you could walk away from that business at any point in time and you lose nothing. Lose nothing. There's nothing. You're not out anything, right? You're out your time and energy that you put in the business, but that's it. But let's say you put $50,000 into that business. That changes the way you look at that business, huh? Oh, yeah. And now, if that business doesn't work right, if it fails, or you want to walk away from that business, that is very painful to do, right? And that pain changes the way that you view that business. It changes the way that you make decisions around that business. So, yeah, and that's just something I've been breaking out lately, just really digging into is skin in the game and just being honest and transparent. That's something I'm really kind of moving towards to a lot of my businesses, where if I want to take my business to the next level, and I can't do that. I'm one guy. I have 6, 7 different companies. In order to really do that, I need to bring in my good employees, offer them ownership, and let them feel what it feels like to put skin in the game. I don't know. If you guys are out there live, you have comments about skin in the game, or if you've done it before, send me messages. Also, I would love it if you guys subscribe to my YouTube channel. This is where I house all my videos. And if you're liking the content and you find it valuable, please subscribe. That way you can see more of my videos. You can see all the videos. Again, this is only episode number 8. My goal is 52, so I'll have 52 videos at least of content. So at this point in time, let's jump into some questions. Adam, what you got?
We got one from John's Fit. Have you had businesses that failed before, and how did you overcome it?
Failure. Mm-hmm.
Do an episode on failure.
I know. June's Fit. Have I had businesses that failed before, and how do you overcome failure? Hey man, this is the reality. 70% of all small businesses fail in the first year. 90% of them fail within 5 years. You're going to fail, and you're going to fail often. That's just what it is. I would say 90% of the stuff that I do, I fail at. It's failures. But that's how you reach success, is through failures. So the way I get through failure is not being afraid of failure. Know that I'm going to fail. Know that like most of the stuff I try out to do, and most of the stuff that I end up doing is going to fail. But those failures are going to lead to a success down the road. Here's the biggest key with failure: limiting your liability. You cannot risk it all on one venture. You can't risk anything that you, I mean, if 90% of businesses go out within 5 years and you risk half of your net income or your equity, you just cut yourself in half. So you have to limit liability, you have to limit risks. You can't be afraid of failure. Failure is going to happen, you have to embrace it. Embrace the suck. That's one of the things I really like. It's going to fucking suck. You're going to fail and you're going to fail often. So get used to failure. Just learn from failure. Just don't let those failures go to waste, and limit your liability so when you do fail, and you're going to fail, that you're still alive to be able to do the next thing and apply everything you learned in that last failure into the next thing that you try. Next question.
Chef Joel Mays wants to know, what do you see as the hardest pitfall in entrepreneurship, and how do you find investors?
Chef Mays wants to know, what's the hardest pitfall in entrepreneurship and where to find investors? The hardest pitfall in entrepreneurship, you don't know this unless you're an entrepreneur, it's lonely. The hardest pitfall in entrepreneurship, no one understands, no one gets it. One of the loneliest days of being an entrepreneur was the day that I used to think that I could teach entrepreneurship. I can teach people how to be a business owner, how to be an entrepreneur, but that's not the reality. You can't. I could sit here and rant all day long and give you guys value and give you information that you can use. I can't teach you how to be an entrepreneur. You're born with it. That's what I truly believe. You're born an entrepreneur, you're not. And the day that I realized that I couldn't teach people how to be an entrepreneur was one of the loneliest feelings that I've had ever. Because I realized that I was different than everybody else. That everybody in this room that's with me, I'm different. No one can really relate to me. And it's a really lonely feeling. So I think again, the question was, what's the biggest pitfall of entrepreneurship? You're alone. Number one is the loneliest number, right? Like, no one's going to be able to relate to you, and you have to understand that and embrace that, everyone's going to look for you for leadership and answers, but no one's really going to be no one's really going to be able to understand where you're coming from as being an entrepreneur. It's lonely. What's the second part of that question again, Adam?
How do you find investors?
Investors, yes. Here's the thing about finding investors, guys. Like, it's not the mythical investor out there. It's not the unicorn that you're trying to find. Like, most people think of investors of like this big business person in a suit that has just tons of money that investing their money. And that may happen sometimes. There's guys out there that have millions of dollars looking to invest, but that's not the reality. That's not where you're going to probably find your investors, because you don't have that network more than likely. Your network is your friends and family that may have $10,000 to $20,000 of money sitting around not working for itself, not earning more money, right? So where you find investors are just people that are around in your circle, and how you get those people to invest in you is you got to have something promising to invest in. You got to show them the return on investment. If I'm sitting on $20,000 cash in my bank account, that's doing me no good. That's not making money. It's not working for me. It's literally sitting there for the bank to use to make money. So I would rather take that money, put it in somewhere where I can get a double 10x on my return on investment. I can take that 20 and make it into 40, or chance at $20,000 to $100,000. You can't do that anywhere else than investing into businesses, startup businesses but you don't have to take a risk. So I don't know, long story short on that is your investors will come from people that you know. That's just it. And I have a really firm philosophy of my investors is, even if I lose money in that investment, I have an example. I just brought in some investors last year on a business, and the business literally lost money. We actually lost money. But I got my biggest thing that I want to do for my investors is get all their money back, and I still gave them profits on their investment, even though that we lost money. I'm not going to go to my investor and say, hey, listen, I'm sorry, man, we lost money, so I lost your money. But thanks for believing in me and giving me money and taking a risk on me. That's not my philosophy. That's not what I'm going to do. If you invest money in with me, I don't care if I lose money. I'm going to get your money back, and I'm going to give you a return on investment. That's just what I do. That's the way that I show that I appreciate the good faith and give me your hard-earned cash that you can't use that I'm using for you. So yeah, it's not the mythical unicorn out there that's some big baller investor. It's probably friends and families around you that got a little bit of cash that would like to earn a little more return on investment than the 5% return maybe in a stock market, or this negative return investment by putting it in the bank. So just look around you, Joel. You'll find it.
We had one come in on Facebook.
Facebook.
Carlos Silva asked, how do you transform what you love to do into a business?
That's a tricky question, Carlos. So if you guys didn't hear that, what's his name, Carlos Silva?
Yeah, Carlos Silva.
How do you transform what you love to do into a business? Be very careful with that, Carlos, because sometimes if you transform what you love to do into trying to make money, you may not end up loving it after all, because you beat the shit out of it and trying to figure out a way to make money, and you end up miserable. So just make sure, if it's something you love to do, make sure you're okay with that happening. But always keep that passion there so that it doesn't end up happening. But the first step, man, if you want to turn something that you love to do into a business, it has to be a business. It can't be something that won't make money. It has to have business opportunity. So look at it and see if it's actually able to make money. Like, I don't know, what's a good example, guys, of something that, I love...
CrossFit.
Yeah, okay, that's good. I like working out, I love CrossFit, but unless I go to the CrossFit games, I'm probably not going to make money at working out. You know what I mean? So just depends on what you love. If it's scalable and you can make money at it, then figure it out. Figure out the way to make money on. And here's the biggest key to understanding whether or not you can make money on something. Is it filling a need of a consumer? That's it. Will the consumer benefit by it? If it's of value to the consumer, whether it be a service, a product, whatever you love doing, or whatever your product you love, whatever it is, if a consumer needs it and has value from it and makes their life easier, if there's a need and you're filling that need, you can make money doing it. Simple answer.
It's easy, just love making money.
Yeah, love making money. I like that. This actually brings me to a thought. I was a college athlete and I played a lot of sports, and it was always about the game and like being the best at the game, right? So I always wanted to be the best athlete I could be, but I forgot about the actual game that we're playing. The actual game we're playing, guys, is life. That's what it is. I want to be the best at life. I want to be the best father. I want to be the best dad. I want to be the best entrepreneur. I want to be the best boss, be the best friend. This is my game, is life. I just want to be the best at it. So I don't know. I just real weird random thought, right? Any more questions coming from live?
That was all we have from live right now.
Okay, cool.
Facebook. Let me check Instagram. Yeah, nothing on Instagram.
If you have questions live as you're out there watching, send me some questions. Let's keep this going. I'm feeling passionate today. I feel energetic. I like the vibe.
How do you keep the appeal up in the fitness industry with all these different kinds of fitness?
Is this the next question?
Yeah.
Who's the question
This is
from?
from Kayla Scott.
Kayla Scott asking a question.
Yeah, so with all the different types of fitness, styles out there, CrossFit, bodybuilding, and all that, how do you keep the appeal up?
How do you keep up with the changing changes of the fitness industry, right?
How do you keep the appeal?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Kayla Scott's question was how do you keep up and keep the appeal up of the fast changing fitness industry from bodybuilding to CrossFit to powerlifters, the average Joe, right, et cetera. Kayla, here's the thing. We move at such a high speed every day, being in this industry every day, that the fitness industry actually feels really slow, to be honest with you. The changes, an outsider looking in at this industry, and probably any industry, is things are moving so fast and changing so fast. Well, you're not in it every day, and you're not analyzing every single step and movement in the industry. And if you are doing that like I do it, then these changes come really slow. And a lot of times you can predict the changes ahead of time of what's going to happen. So the short answer to that is it's not fast, it's slow, and we stay ahead of the curve actually really easily. To expand on that a little bit is we talked, I don't remember, it was a few days ago, Isla, we're talking about watching the competition. I think this question kind of plays into that a little bit because we're watching the industry that we're in, right? So instead of like focusing on what we think the industry is doing, right? And we spend our time and energy like, okay, what's bodybuilding doing? What's going on for CrossFit? What's going on here? Is you need to pull that focus away. It's okay to look and kind of see what's going on a little bit, but like your focus should be on you and your brand, your company, what you're doing, your culture, and that should be your focus. Like, Isla, we're talking about competition the other day, and you're like, you know, I'm watching other brands and see what other brands doing, and I made the suggestion to you is like, stop watching other brands, right? Many reasons, like if you're watching other brands, you run risk of being like every other brand. If you're watching the bodybuilding industry, Kayla, you run risk of being a bodybuilding industry brand, right? Or a CrossFit industry brand. Like you're just running risk. You want to be your own company. You want to be your own thing. And you don't want to be like everybody else. And that is how you pioneer an industry. Instead of watching your competition and watching what's going on in the industry, if you're doing that, you're going to be one step behind. You're going to be one step behind. Oh, this is going on in the industry now. By the time you get around to actually doing it, it's gone. And it's not happening anymore. By the time you get around like catching up with your competition, it's gone. Your competition is 2 steps ahead of you. Like stop watching competition, stop watching the industry, and focus on you and being the best you can be as a company, athlete, whatever you want to be. And that's how you actually pioneer and make changes and pioneer your industry to the better. Like you're doing something no one has ever done because you're not watching what other people are doing. I hope that makes sense. So,
Yeah.
long answer to that, Kayla.
Maximus would like to know, how do you best deal with stress, and what tips do you have?
Stress. Max McManus wants to know how to deal with stress. There's one big answer to that, Max. You have to understand that stress comes from you and nothing else. So you have all control over stress. Nobody else, no other external variable, nothing else stresses you out. It comes from you. You stress you out, control you, and you control stress. That's really the short answer of that. Is, yeah, again, like, and if you're looking out like, oh my God, my employees, just kidding at them, stressing me out. Oh my God, this company's stressing me out. Oh my God, like my schoolwork's stressing me out. My teacher's stressing me out. My boss is stressing me out. Like you have zero control over that. And you're always going to be stressed out. And who wants to not have control over the stress? But if you look inward of like, I'm letting this thing stress me out. I'm letting this person stress me out. You have 100% control over your stress. So work on yourself. Don't worry about other people. And typically stress comes from fear of the future. You're worried about what may happen a month from now, a year from now, a minute from now. And the best way to deal with stress is stay present in the moment. Yeah, you have to think about the future to plan, but don't worry about the future. Don't dwell on the future. Be in the moment and your stress level will come way down. And understand that you control your stress 100%. Nobody else, no other outside variable can stress you out. It's just the reality, that's the truth. Other little tips that I do for stress, I like to work out. It helps me relieve stress. That may build up, may get in. Definitely stay away from any kind of drug. I'm not a big advocate on antidepressants, medication for stress. Like if you're the one stressing yourself out and you don't take a pill to relieve it, like, I don't know, that just seems like a dead end to me. So, all right, guys, any more questions coming across?
Nothing on the live feeds now.
Adam, you drawing artwork on it? Yeah, okay. All right, guys, this is the BCE Show, episode number 8. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate every one of you. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can see more videos, and tune in next time. Thanks a lot.